I'm going to call the Honourable Annette King.
Thank you very much, Mr Chairman. And I wanted to pick up on comments made by the Attorney-General in his speech, where he said there'd been a willful misreading of this legislation. He then went on and made a gratuitous attack on the Law Society. And I thought it might be important to point out that at 3:48 today, the Law Society issued a press statement regarding changes to this bill. Now, we've heard tonight the Law Society, along with many other very good organisations, respected organisations, including the Privacy Commissioner, Marie Schroff, and others, made submissions to the Select Committee. But today the Law Society put out a press release that said GCSB bill remains flawed despite proposed changes. And whose name was that press release in? It was in the name of Austin Forbes, QC, Law Society Rule of Law Society Committee Chair. Now, the Attorney-General slagged off the Law Society because some non-entity, some person that had an axe to grind, went to a public meeting and it represented Zowie, made a comment. Another QC, I gather. However, the point that I am making, Mr Chair, is one Austin Forbes QC, a former president of the Law Society, was a person the National Party believed in very strongly in 2008, when they were in opposition, and the Electoral Finance Act was being debated in this Parliament. And whatever he said, Mr Austin Forbes said at that time, was absolute gospel. It was gospel, they believed it, and when he said this bill has a chilling effect, they jumped on it and repeated it week after week after week. Well, I think the Law Society has said much more about this bill in the name of Mr Austin Forbes, and maybe the Attorney-General would like to apologise to this very, very well-known QC, something the Attorney-General sought for a long time and found great difficulty in getting himself until he got into Parliament. But what did they say? What did the Law Society say today at 3:48 p.m? They said minor improvements have been made, but they do not address the fundamental flaws in this bill. They then went on to say, especially Part 1, they then went on to say this legislation should not proceed. They said the idea of a set of guiding principles is potentially a step in the right direction, but they are not convinced the proposed wording provides adequate safeguards. They were also very critical of dropping of SOPs on any part of this bill at this time, dropped on this bill this day. None of us had seen them, and we had Peter Dunne for days saying, but I am going to bring in SOPs that are going to make a change because I sold my soul to the National Party and they're going to accept my SOPs. We didn't know what they were. The public didn't know what they were. The Law Society didn't know what they were. But, of course, Peter Dunne did because he'd done a dirty little deal. And so we have the Law Society and Mr Austin Forbes QC saying that this bill is flawed. Well, I'd like to quote the Minister of Economic Development. The government can't have it both ways. They can't say when they make a submission on one bill that suits them, when Mr Austin Forbes does, that it's a very good submission, and when they get one they don't like, they say it is no good. They can't have it both ways. Another question in terms of this bill is a comment that Peter Dunne made when he said he would not support this bill until he knew what the cost would be if the SIS had the same equipment and capacity and capability as the GCSB. Do members remember that? It's only a couple of weeks ago. He would not support the bill until he got the costings. He could look at the costings. Well, Attorney General, what are the costings? What advice was given to Peter Dunn? What was he told that would be in the costings of having the same capacity as the SIS? So I say to the Attorney General...
Ask the Minister and the Chair for the current time. I just will note that it is apparent that urgent public business has kept the Prime Minister from doing his duties with this bill in the House. But I want to ask the Attorney General to indulge his fetish with regard to jurisprudential matters, Mr. Speaker. I'm going to give him a technicality on which he can get off. Mr. Speaker, I want to refer him to page 5 of the